I think the only tutorial they force you to play every character you create, if I remember correctly, is the tutorial on parallel quests. Oh yeah, this part. If you have an existing Xenoverse 1 file, this is easier on console, if I'm going to be honest, for like the Xbox and the PlayStation builds, because they'll just read the save files on your console. So you have to do a little bit of like, it's kind of bugged on PC where you have to move some files around, but you are able to import your character from Xenoverse 1. And she's talking about the events of Xenoverse 1, which you can actually replay in the Time Nest. And depending on the character you import, you can actually get the outfit they were wearing and whatever, with a few exceptions, whatever skills they had. If the skills were, if the skills were tied to, or have been changed whether tied to a mentor or tied to a mentor at all, like I believe the Gallic gun, you can't transfer them over. Same with all the awakening skills. Yep, so that was our character who actually went through the entirety of Xenoverse 1 back in when I first streamed it. That was a while ago. As I mentioned, though, you'd get, I think with a few exceptions, whatever outfit they were wearing. So it's kind of a way to carry your data over to a limited degree. Because, as I said, you could carry over basically an entire skill set. I actually used it to carry over Giant Storm, because that used to be really... That used to be my go-to, because it dealt so much damage. Yeah, this is what's going to get us our vehicle. We could change the vehicle we're using from the options menu. It was game settings, right? Wait, I forgot. I want to... No, it's locked. She said it said locked. Here, free item. Yeah, so I only have 3 because I don't do much of these. There's the this vehicle, which you get from the Supreme Kai of Time. This is a DLC because it was a pre-order bonus. It's Tao Pai Pai's Pillar. And then, I forget where I got this one, but it's modeled on the space pod that the Saiyans use. Until you get access to the ability to fly around town, this is going to be your best method. As I mentioned, you do have to play this one. Before we do anything, let me boost my attributes. Your growth is going to be very slow at first. It will explode later once we get a certain NPC. I'm going to try to pace myself. And yeah, so when you run parallel quests, here's how things go. You get a total of 3 characters you can bring with you. As you can see, like, all these characters, even, like, iconically super strong characters like, Super Saiyan God, Gohan Beast, you can see their stats look very pitiful right now. If I remember correctly, their stats are in line with your level. So as you go up, their stats will go up. That's only true for parallel quests. I think for PvP, it's slightly different. The other things you can run is you can actually bring your custom characters in. As you can see, though, their levels are not forcefully scaled. If I remember correctly, the reason why the text is glowing for some of my characters is because I've limit broke those stats. If you press start, though, you also could just skip bringing the other 2 members and just go. Parallel quests are where you're going to be spending most of the time in this game. Yeah, so it's gonna have you search for, you can search for items. These are gonna be like mixing items, some food, stuff like that. And to find them, you just need to use your, you just gotta censor them kind of. If you have a scouter, actually, it will actually pull up a screen like a scouter from the show, which is really cool. Yeah, you press up, you can see, you know, requirements for the level, what you have to do, materials you obtained, blah 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 blah. Skill, on the other hand, don't worry too much about skill, because you'll obtain skills typically from the end of the level. There are gates. These gates will open up when you're ready to leave an area. If it's glowing green, that means there's something going on in that area. There are sometimes special encounters to fight other time patrollers. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. Yeah. If you see an aura like this, it means that there's someone to be revived. You can also find them the same way by sensing energy. Just lock onto them and you'll slowly revive the character. Also, by the way, the Super Soul also affects your key charge blast, because there are some that are just a giant blast. Mine gives me rapid fire. Enemies can appear during it, so right now it's just Cybermen. More Raditz! I should have used Burst Kamehameha. I like my attacks that I can weave into combos. Divine Kamehameha tends to be one of my opening gambits, but it does cost a little bit more than the other standard skills. And Gigantic Cluster is really good once you get access to transformations. What the fuck's going on? Oh, that's Elder Kai. There you go. Anything red are enemies. There are also... Let's see. Huh. It's not Gigantic Cluster. It's another Broly move, though. It's so weird seeing my key pool being so small. So, talking about time patrollers. If you see time patrollers, you can fly up to them and challenge them to a fight. The time patrollers will be using their levels will be scaled accordingly. And they're out. I think these are all actual other player characters, which is kind of cool. But, in terms of defeating them, if you defeat them, there's a chance for them to drop the Dragon Balls. This is so much better than it was in Xenoverse 1. For those who've never played Xenoverse 1, when you fought Time Patrollers, it was only one-on-one combat. And they all had the same chance of dropping a Dragon Ball. Now it's fighting 3, and the Dragon Balls spawn a lot more frequently, I've noticed. So it is so much better than it used to be. And yeah, you don't need to worry about landing the finishing blow. Any character, anytime an enemy is defeated, everyone gets the rewards. I'm not used to dealing so little damage. Yeah, higher level flows give better rewards, and you might even get a Dragon Ball. If you're looking for the Dragon Balls, you could tell you got one because they'll say you got key item. Dragon Balls are the only key items you'll get from defeating Time Patrollers. Yeah, and if you meet secret requirements, there will be changes. These are depending on the level. Sometimes it's finishing within a certain amount of time. Other times it's you'll have a set party member. They can't drop below certain health. Stuff like that. And you'll have an encounter with strong foes. And usually they're unique. Sometimes they're unique encounters with certain Dragon Ball characters. And beating them will actually unlock these unique variants to bring with you on other parallel quests. The other thing I'm not used to being, like, so small is my stamina. So I just gotta get used to the fact that I'm level 1 again. I am all three of my main characters are level 180. Hercule badges are selling fodder, and everything else there is mixing, which you can use to create items or create bang souls. I'm not really gonna need any of that because I have a surplus of everything I need. Okay, so now here's all the updates that have been added over time. With version 1.14, Majub was introduced. Deepening your bond with him by giving him gifts, and you can actually fight Majub and Goku during the DBZ finale. This was the... Well, I believe this was back when 1.14 was the final bit of content for Xenoverse. It is no longer the case. During version 17, we got the exclusive skill Super Saiyan God, but you had to max required by any race by seeing with instructor bureaus with 5 specific instructors at max friendship. Yep, the instructors were Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Videl, Gotenks, and Pan. The reason it's this 5 is they're all Saiyans. They were all Saiyans who were present during the ritual to get Goku to go Super Saiyan God. But the 5th is you. You're the one receiving it this time instead of the 5. No, instead of all sent to Goku. Pan's there because of the fact, yeah, Pan was technically part of the original ritual in Battle of Gods. Mascots, so these are Flare. I don't have any. Stylist, as I mentioned, he was at it. In exchange for TP medals, he would change your hairstyle, head shape, and head and skin color. And no more need to go to Shenron. This was so good. Matchmaking lobby was added. I don't know how it used to work, but yeah. The matchmaking lobby is actually the main hub of Xenoverse 1, which is kind of interesting. Cross versus is not something I've done. It's 3-on-3 battles. Compete to earn points. I don't really know much about it. Quest difficulty adjustment, which is, as I've said, you can lower it to difficulty. Yeah, up until level 59, it's free of charge, but when you reach level 60, you'll need to spend TP or STP medals. It just costs 10. It is mostly used for goddamn grinding, or at least for me. Okay, so that's what's going on there. I might turn that off. So difficulty adjustment is that this way everything's within level. So I was curious as to what that was and how to turn that off. I completely forgot about this. I'm going to turn that off. Auras, STP medals. So back in the day... Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't really know the point of STP medals. TP medals were originally, for those unaware, when the game first launched, microtransaction currency. You could earn 1 or 2 from completing a mission, as you saw, but then eventually, you could also buy them with real money. Eventually, down the line, they took that away and made it so you could only earn them in-game, and they added a lot of ways to earn them really easy. And then, eventually, they've added STP medals. So, STP medals, unlike TP medals. TP medals you can add with save edits. You cannot for STP because they are linked to the Xenoverse servers. You cannot earn any offline. It doesn't really matter though because they do not have anything special. At least not typically, at least I think. I think you could probably, in like the one shopping area, I don't know how special this stuff is, so The main thing though is that it's event currency. I'm gonna be honest. It's just event currency. I don't see it as like, it's not something you could just buy, or at least from what I've seen, like with real cash, so who cares? And TP medals are more useful anyway, just because more services use them. You can use them to buy as an alternate form of currency besides any, to buy any clothes, skills, and even some special clothes and skills through the TP medal shop. There's also a character in-game who will train you and give you a free level from giving him Zenny, and eventually he will only take TP medals. And when you get to the higher levels, this is more efficient than actually playing the fucking... Well, not playing the game. Than running, like, XP grinds. Just because, holy fuck, it gets expensive to level up. I've already talked about the TP medal shop. It was updated a while back. They've added... these are some quality of life improvements. The Dragon Ball Collection service was Sarasa, a Namekian with mysterious power, controls the Dragon Balls, has arrived at Kanton City. If you pay him STP medals, he will go and collect the Dragon Balls and immediately summon Shenron. This is really the only time I've used STP medals. The thing is, it gets cheaper the more Dragon Balls you have. But to be honest, it's not necessary because it's really easy to get the Dragon Balls. I'm going to show how later. And then this was added in the most recent DLC, which is the Kanton City Patrol with Chile and Super Broly. In order to play, you must first complete the Raditz attack, and also the story begins after the completion of Future Saga Chapter 3. So, yeah, not covering it. At least not for a while. Yeah. And then this is just boosting stats I've already talked about. Okay, so I believe... Will it show... So yeah, it won't show all of them. You'll unlock the higher star parallel quests as you play the game. So as you complete it, each parallel quest is category is connected to a saga. So, for example, this one is everything with Raditz. The next one's going to be the Saiyan Saga. And then these are the DLC. This game launched with 100 parallel quests. We have nearly doubled that. It's really only going to affect add-on stuff, so that's like DLC, but because, I'll be honest, some of the DLC does get very fucking hard, so, yeah, if you're playing for the first time and you just want to run the DLC for, like, you know, certain, like, you know, the DLC ones for skills and certain costumes, go right the fuck ahead. Like, there's a lot of them, and there are some pretty good costumes. Like, we've got things like, outfits from the Goku Black arc, we've got the Tournament of Power, the multiple movies. I think GT's in there, and some of them are just some wacky scenarios. One of my personal favorite is the one for, oh, why am I drawing a blank here? But one of my personal favorites is the, one parallel quest where Yamcha just becomes a fucking demon. It's great. And then the other thing we've got here is Elder Kai's advancement tests at the Patroller Academy. Yeah, so he's basically saying use this academy to build and learn your skills. The mentors. As you play through the game, mentors will become unlocked. I'm gonna pull up my play data to show this. Yeah. So there are various mentors you'll unlock as you play the game. Every saga pretty much unlocks a new set. And you can learn their skills. So like you could go to Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, Tien. And then any with the gold frame are DLC. They have not added mentors in forever. I would like for them to add new mentors, but I don't think it's happening. I'm not going to go through all the mentors just because I already have all my skills from the mentors. I've completed every mentor's training. And it's really just encounters with the mentors and just doing some special training. Like, they'll have you fight them to test out the new skill. If you like the skill, you can use it in your set. Some of them are more annoying than others. One of the more annoying ones, if I'm going to be honest, is Hercule Satan. Yeah, this is just talking about shops and the Ki Blast types. I think that's it, though. I think I'm good to go continue the story.